Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Coach Tobias Forst, founder of Achilles Life Coaching, and the topic of today's video is your life without your narcissist. So we will be going through two scenarios today. What your life looks like without your narcissist. That means scenario one is once you've successfully managed to separate yourself and moved away from physically from your narcissist, and you find yourself in your new home, your new apartment. And the second scenario is if you have not yet reached the point of separating yourself from the narcissist, and how you can find your niches, your moments, your hours of time that are just for yourself. So let's start with scenario number one, the one which I strongly encourage you to find for yourself at some point in the future. Maybe some of you have already taken that path, that very difficult and strenuous and arduous path to personal liberation. So let's say you moved out of the house that you lived in with your narcissist, that you find yourself in a new apartment. So what has changed objectively? Objectively, it might be less space. It might be fewer rooms. It is very likely to be an entirely different neighborhood you find yourself in. Maybe your social circle has shrunk by your own choosing, maybe. So, objectively, it might seem less. It is objectively less than it was before, when you're entirely discounting any emotional aspect in all of that. You've lived in a bigger house, maybe there's no balcony now, no garden, whichever. So objectively it's less. So in order for you to see where this is going in today's video, I'd like to interject with a brief movie sequence from one of the X-Men movies. In case you're not familiar with the mutants, basically humans with certain particular superpowers. Relevant for our video today, for our discussion here, Your Life Without Your Narcissist, is a set of two particular characters. One is Charles. Charles is a telepath able to tap into the minds of other people, make them do things, suggest things, or just neutrally communicating with them. Then there is another person in the fray. His name is Eric. The superpowers of Eric are really not pertinent to our example here, but Eric knows that he is, like everyone else, susceptible to Charles's telepathic incursions, should Charles choose to do so. So Eric has come up with a particular defense, and this is in the form of using a helmet of a specific design. So while he hears Charles's voice in his head, suggesting things, trying to make him do things, Eric puts on the helmet, and with a very on-point sound design, upon completion of putting on the helmet, the voice completely disappears. And it's completely silent. No further incursions by the telepath. It's just Eric and his own thoughts. This is the situation that you enable yourself to get to once you move away from your narcissist. So let's say this is a very recent development in your life. You've split from your narcissist, or them from you, doesn't matter. You live on your own now. How do you begin to feel? Your breathing becomes lighter, less pressured over time until the pressure is gone. The occasional bursts of fear that by conditioning you, having conditioned you before you separated from them, will come up. They will become less over time. The bursts of fear when you look to the door and think, where is the source of the fear walking through the door? And to your own surprise, the answer is no. There's no one coming through that door, because it is your space now. Your stomach knots when you're approaching your apartment or your house. They will still be there in the beginning. They will diminish over time until they vanish completely, because you have nothing to feel uneasy about when you come home to your metaphorical castle. You become creative again. You leave, mentally and emotionally, you leave your survival mode. And the muse is able to talk to you again, to find and cultivate and increase new interests and go after them. You can laze on the couch at night, watching whatever you choose to watch, without judgment. You can go to bed whenever you want, without being diminished. You can meditate without the derisive snort coming through the half-open door, like, what's he doing again? What are you doing again? Because taking your time off from the narcissistic relationship by cultivating your own personal space of peace, you're not exactly doing what the narcissist wants you to do, which is attention, validation, and all the rest of the glorious demands. What you encounter in your own new home, regardless of how small it is pure silence. The ultimate quiet moment. So what is missing? What is missing in your new home? What is no longer there? Your new space, ladies and gentlemen, is free of invalidation. It is free of the cheating. It is free of the lying. It is free of the manipulation. It is free of the conditioning, and it is free of the constant barrage of gaslighting. And I congratulate you for having taken that step to your own personal freedom. Now coming to scenario 2, because I know many of you have not yet been able to walk that path, to get to exactly that point. You might still be in the relationship with your narcissist. Okay, that's the fact. How do we deal with it? You still need to replenish, take some measure of energy back from somewhere. So this is why I want you to cultivate your regenerative phases, on which so much of your survival depends upon. So what can this look like? This can be your walk on your own through the forest. Maybe you brought a small camping chair, unfold it next to the river, and you just sit down. You've left your cell phone, your mobile in the car. You cannot be disturbed for those next few hours. You look across the lake or the river, Listen to the chirping of the birds, hear the rustle of the leaves in the wind. Pure silence. It might be you reading your currently favorite book out on the patio while your narcissistic man or your narcissistic woman is not around, with your cell phone on flight mode. No disturbances, no text gaslighting. It's just you. And with that quiet comes a big opportunity for you. Letting your thoughts and feelings come forth, with whatever emotion goes along with them. Let it out, let it flow, sort yourself out, and over time build the strength to get to scenario 1, to get to a point where you're finally living without your narcissist. And once, ladies and gentlemen, once you've achieved that, and it is a titanic endeavor, and it is worth every sacrifice. I must be clear about this. There is no sacrifice too great for you to get your peace. Not for an hour, not for a half a day prolonged business trip just to have half a day off of interacting with them, but to have permanent peace from them, for yourself. It is worth every sacrifice. And once you've achieved that, ladies and gentlemen, as a closing thought, be very thorough in vetting people regarding who deserves to enter that space of yours. Who qualifies now to experience your new home. Be your own hero and be your own heroine. And enjoy the peace and the silence. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.